Welcome to the ARE 5.0 video prep series, brought to you by NCARB. In this video, we'll take an in-depth look at the Practice Management Division. Practice management is all about how to run a practice. You should expect to see content related to numerous pre-contract topics, including the ethics, laws, and regulations governing the practice of architecture, types of business structures, fiduciary responsibilities of practice, and contract negotiation. Also included will be human resource management, or who you work with inside your practice, consultant development, or who you work with outside your practice, and business development, how you secure work for your practice. Topics specific to a project, in other words, tasks that start after a contract is signed, are covered in the project management video. Ethical competent practice management is an important part of protecting public health, safety, and welfare. Imagine these scenarios. An architect who spends so much time on business development, he doesn't have time to review drawings. Or an architect who doesn't bill clients on time, so she doesn't have funds to pay her staff and consultants. Or an architect who is thrilled to accept a commission in a neighboring state, but doesn't know to apply for a reciprocal license. Any of these may adversely affect the health of an architectural firm, but effective practice management can prevent these issues. Be sure to review the latest ARE 5.0 guidelines and ARE 5.0 handbook, both on the NCARB website. The guidelines contain critical information about ARE 5.0 policies, including the rolling clock, scheduling a test, problems at the test center, and receiving your score. The handbook discusses the content of all 6 divisions and includes sample items and suggested references, as well as more information on the objectives for each division. You'll have 2 hours and 45 minutes to answer 80 items in this division. The content is distributed between business operations, finances, risk, and development of practice, practice-wide delivery of services, and practice methodologies. In the business operations section, you will need to understand that running a business requires attention to staffing, regulations, insurance, ethics, and the appropriate standard of care. Let's look at a sample question. An architecture firm has been selected to design a 4-story apartment complex in a neighboring jurisdiction. The office staffing leader is in the process of assigning dedicated architecture staff to the project. Click on the name of the employee in the staff list who is most appropriate to be the project architect and responsible for the overall design and development of the apartment complex. The correct answer is Employee E. The process for assigning staffing resources within an architecture firm is discussed in the Architect's Handbook of Professional Practice. First, you must evaluate staff on availability, experience, and credentials. You must also verify that the roles and responsibilities of the position align with the project requirements. Employee E is licensed in the project's jurisdiction, is only charging 25% of their time to firm projects, and has work experience on related project types. Based on the information provided, this makes Employee E the most appropriate choice to serve as project architect for the new apartment complex. This is an AE level item requiring you to evaluate firm resources and determine staffing based on the requirements of a building project. The Finances, Risk, and Development of Practice section is about how running and developing a practice requires attention to finances, the ability to mitigate risk and liability, and negotiation of services and contracts. This is the largest section within the Practice Management Division. Let's look at a sample question. Office leadership at an AE firm is performing an evaluation of the efficiency of their office and overall effectiveness of each employee. Based on the information provided, what is the utilization rate of Architect A? The correct answer is 80. According to the Architect's Guide to Small Firm Management and the Architect's Handbook of Professional Practice, utilization rate is a measure of the effective use of labor and is calculated by dividing an employee's direct labor by their total labor. First, you need to identify the direct labor hours for Architect A. Time spent on the Westside Community Center, City View Rehabilitation Clinic, and Parkside Apartments is all direct labor because it is charged to each project. Hours spent on responding to an RFP, firm staffing, and continuing education are considered indirect labor. By dividing the direct labor hours by the total hours, you determine that Architect A's utilization rate is 80%. Because the percent symbol is given next to the answer box, You know the correct answer should be represented as a percentage, not a decimal. This is an AE level item requiring you to analyze an employee's use within an architecture office to determine the effectiveness of their labor. In the Practice-Wide Delivery of Services section, you will need to look at projects in the context of their impact on the overall management of a practice. Let's look at a sample question. An architecture firm has been awarded the following projects: a community center with a simple program, fixed budget, and the client's desire for contractor competition; a performing arts center with an aggressive schedule and the client's need to know a final construction cost during the design phase; the adaptive reuse of an existing industrial building, which contains multiple unknown conditions into studio apartments. Drag the project names from the left into the boxes of the most appropriate delivery method for each project. Methods of project delivery and their characteristics are discussed in Professional Practice, A Guide to Turning Designs into Buildings, and the Architect's Handbook of Professional Practice. In the Design, Bid, Build methodology, project cost is a primary driver because contractors submit fixed price bids, allowing the owner to select a contractor at or under the owner's budget. This delivery method fulfills the community center's requirement of a fixed budget and contractor competition. In the Construction Manager as Constructor Delivery method, the contractor can provide technical advice early in the design process based on early design documents. They are also able to implement a fast-track schedule with multiple construction documentation packages, fulfilling the requirements of the Performing Arts Center. The Construction Manager as Agent Delivery method can provide the owner with early construction consulting, but does not provide a final construction cost during the design phase. Since the adaptive reuse project contains unknown conditions, a cost-plus fixed-fee delivery method would be the most appropriate because it disconnects the contractor's profit from any increase in project costs that may occur during construction. This is an AE level item because it requires the evaluation of different project goals and their alignment with various methods of delivery. In the Practice Methodology section, you will need to analyze how a practice is structured to achieve its goals and how to coordinate various projects and services. Let's look at a sample question. Two architects are forming a new architectural design firm and need to choose a business entity. One architect anticipates bringing several existing clients, while the other is leaving a larger firm and is unable to bring clients. They will initially only conduct business in one state and have no plans to add additional employees. The architects would like to protect their personal assets and maximize their tax benefits. Which legal entity should the architects establish for their practice? Limited liability partnership, general partnership, sole proprietorship, sub-C corporation. The correct response is limited liability partnership. According to Law for Architects, What You Need to Know, and the Architect's Handbook of Professional Practice, partners of a limited liability partnership are not personally liable for obligations of the LLP, but may be liable for their own personal negligence. LLPs are not required to pay federal taxes, as income and losses are reported on each individual's tax return. Sole proprietorships and general partnerships provide no liability protection for personal assets. Although sub-C corporations protect stockholders' personal assets, both the corporation and stockholders pay federal taxes. This is an AE level item that requires you to compare and align goals of an architectural practice with business and legal structures. Ready to get started? Refer to the ARE Handbook for a list of reference materials most often used to develop the questions included in this division. This is not an exhaustive list of all possible references, but a suggestion for further reading. And remember, lots of people are studying for the ARE right now, so join the conversation. You can stay on top of the latest news and connect with NCARB and your colleagues with these sites. Be sure to check out our ARE community created just for ARE 5.0 and take a look at our other ARE 5.0 division videos. Thanks for watching.